We just did shots and no. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I can't even tell you. I'm here with two Vivians, and I am having the apple sour from Vivian's Cookbook. Delicious. And I just wanted to take a second and thank Vivian for being here, and Vivian, our mayor, for being here. Our mayor, Vivian, has a cookbook, and she used to have a restaurant. And you take it away, Mayor.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. And Vivian Howard, we're glad to have you. From one Vivian to another. Welcome to Wake Forest again. Thanks for coming back to visit. You have many, many fans in Wake Forest, as I'm sure you know, and they're all on, or some of them are on the call tonight, and they're excited about your cookbook and figuring out how to make things taste good. So thank you for being here.
Yes, and thank you, Mayor Jones. So we have Vivian Howard. This cookbook is beautiful. I got a sneak peek into it the night before the book was released, and whew, I think you kicked it up a notch. Your writing is superb. I feel like it's a bedtime story. Dave won't read to me, but I can't wait to have you back in the store. You were here with us at the last minute. You came and 400 people cheered you on, and you were so gracious. You talked to every single person. I think we had a good time too. We had a couple beers from White Street Brewing, and you're so gracious and amazing. I love the cookbook, and thank you so much. Vivian Howard, who owns a restaurant in Kinston and grew up in Kinston, North Carolina. I have my North Carolina shirt on, and thank you, Vivian. So what are you gonna do tonight? What made you come up with this cookbook too? Like, I have so many questions.
So I wrote Deep Run Roots, as you know, 500 and some pages. That was really a love letter to Eastern North Carolina and our food traditions. And, with my second book, I wanted to do something that was really even more personal, I guess, and represent the way that I actually cook at home. Because, as wonderful as, Eastern North Carolina's history is, it's not necessarily the way that I, feed my family every day. It's not always to stew collard greens for 3 hours. But I do have a certain way of cooking at home that I think a lot of chefs actually also have, but we just haven't articulated it to our audiences. So, I think every chef has these little recipes that they make in their restaurants that, are either relishes or pickles or spice mixes that, really signify their style, and it allows them to put simple ingredients during service together to make food that tastes like it's been cooked for hours. And so that's what this book is about, and that's why the name is This Will Make It Taste Good, because these are like the flavor heroes of my kitchen. And I noticed, after running the restaurant for several years, I would come home and want to cook, and I would find myself going back to the restaurant to grab these things out of the walk-in. And so over the years, it's just become a big part of my home kitchen. And so in an effort to really, I think, teach people how to cook and be nimble in their own, that's how this book came to be.
Well, it's amazing. It really is. And you talk a little bit about there, you didn't ever want to set out to become a restaurant empire. So you go back to your roots, which is what you want to do, is storytelling and writing, which you're incredible at. And, the fundamentals of cooking. And this book will actually kick it up a notch. So you feel like you're at a restaurant, and it's easy. You make it really easy, and this can go with this and this can go with this. And I love that. How did you put that all together?
It's how meal prep has become such a thing.
Yeah.
I've never understood that. It's why are you going to grill chicken breast on Sunday to reheat them on Wednesday and, ultimately less than their quality? And so I am a big fan of getting ahead for the week. So, I would love for people who get this book to to take it chapter by chapter and make one of these on a Sunday when we roasting Brussels sprouts too long to be reheated once again.
Yeah.
One of these, and then see how flexible it makes dinner and lunch every day that week. So tonight we're going to be talking about, so there's 10 chapters in the book. Mm-hmm. And each one is about one of these flavor heroes. And so the first chapter in the book is one of my favorites. You should always start your book with one of your favorites, I think. And it's called Little Green Dress. I'm trying to find it.
I love the names.
And, it is all about, this chapter is all about this condiment that is basically like a chimichurri and a salsa verde had a baby in a bed of olives. And it's called Little Green Dress because, like all our little black dresses, it goes well with everything. Mm-hmm. And it makes everything taste better. So one of the fun parts, there's a process shot for all of the heroes. And then one of my favorite and uncomfortable parts are these portraits that begin every chapter where I actually dress like the.
I love that.
And so just really fun because it's a different type of storytelling within the book, but it really, I think, showcases my fun and creative and quirky side. Yeah. And so in Little Green Dress, I'm, wearing a parsley belt and I have on a little black dress. I hope everybody gets that. It took my editor a while. But then, also with every hero, there is an essay or a story about why that hero matters to me and what it means in your kitchen and what its attributes are. And then, of course, you get the recipe for the hero. And then a bunch of these, this is one of my favorite parts of the book, are these no-brainers. It's like, so you make this thing, and then there are all these suggestions. They're not even recipes. It's like for Little Green Dress, serve with scrambled eggs or omelets. Mix in a chicken, potato, or egg salad. I literally made egg salad yesterday on the fly for myself because I've been intermittent fasting till 2 p.m. And at 1:50, I was about to kill someone. So I thought, what can I
totally relate to being hangry. Yeah.
So I made this really amazing egg salad on the fly because I had Little Green Dress in my fridge, and it was so good I shared it with my coworkers. So anyway, so then you have all these no-brainers, and then a recipe, a chapter of 10 or more recipes using that particular hero. So this is just a different way to look at a cookbook, and the photography in this book that's where we're going right now.
One.
The photography in this book is, I think,
incredible.
One of the strongest, breadth of photographies in a cookbook I've ever seen.
Yeah.
My friend Baxter Miller did this, and I'm just it's something that, I thought Deep Run Roots was beautiful, but I look at this and I'm really proud of the photography. Yeah. In the colors and just the whole aesthetic of it. So it can be a coffee table book, especially if you take this part off with me on it.
That was a brilliant idea. Brilliant. Yeah.
Love the, what do you call this? The actual cover. What?
Oh, look, it's Flo.
Yeah, you're commenting. The chapter we're going to talk about tonight is probably, I love all the chapters for different reasons, but this one is, I think, particularly important at this moment in time when so many of us are at home more. We're trying to figure out what the hell to do with our kids. Hell is not a cuss word. Anyway.
You have children, or Theo and Flo are in the background, and Flo just showed us her picture too because she's a little fashionista.
Yes, she's in this chapter. But so this chapter is about making kraut, sauerkraut at home. And it's really also about encouraging you to do that with your family. Fermentation is such a cool kitchen skill, and it's not hard at all. It's incredibly economical. All kinds of fermented foods are really good for you, great for your gut. And the chapter shows you how to make kraut, and it's called Can Do Kraut. And the portrait associated with it, I hope y'all get this reference, is Rosie the Riveter, and I've got I'm holding a jar of kraut right there. And the funny thing is I think we think that we have to like can kraut, but we don't. So tonight, Flo and Theo and I are going to make some of this can-do kraut for you, and
it's going to taste a lot better than the bag of white liquid that you see in the deli.
Absolutely,
Yours looks so good.
It costs a fraction of it, and the reason that I think it's cool. Come on, guys, y'all can come over. To do it with, I'm just kidding. The reason I think it's cool to do it with kids is because it's a kitchen project that is not hard at all. There's a lot of activity, there's pounding, and we're about to do this. And then they get to watch it change and develop and become something. And I'm not sure that it makes them like to eat it anymore. But one of the things that I've done in This Will Make It Taste Good is I've hidden it in recipes that they don't even know it lives in.
But the memories you're creating are going to be there forever too. Because I think you've always talked about like cooking with people and your mom, and that's so important. So for you to be carrying that on is wonderful. I'm going to let you do your thing. I just want to remind everybody you have the buy the book button on the bottom. We have signed copies, and the book is fantastic. Just click the button on Buy the Vivian book there and put your comments or questions in the chat bar, and we'll ask them towards the end. Bye, Flo and Theo.
Where'd she go?
She's watching. She's watching. She's just going to let us do her thing. Hold on. My pot's dirty. Okay, Flo. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, okay, Flo. So you've done this before with a different one. So we've got cabbage. We've got one head of cabbage here that I've cut into pieces small to get in this.
The blended masala.
Yes, exactly. And so I want you to push that through, but by no means should you put your hand in there. And so the way you hold this, like a. Okay, look. Yes, you're going to get to do something. When you have twins, they just are so competitive. See how that? So here, put your hand right here. We should have rehearsed. Right there. Now.
This is kind of hard.
Well, just keep doing it. Okay. All right. So we've got. Push Okay, well, we're about to pound. So what we're going to do is grind up the cabbage. Also have one English cucumber. Okay. So let's start putting more there. Okay. So how about this, Theo? For now, why don't you stand here and you hold the trigger.
The trigger. What?
And she's going to push it in.
Come on, Flo.
Okay, hold it. You got to push it. I know you're like, I cannot believe Vivian Howard has that tiny little food processor, like multi-use thing in her house. But the truth is, and if you read this book and also Deeper and Roots, I hate stuff. I generally, unless I have to have a kitchen gadget, I tend to make it. Lord, I tend to choose my knife over anything else because I don't like washing dishes. The digital thing.
No one likes washing dishes.
No. In fact, y'all have not done your chore. I've got a dish. I've got a sink full of dishes right now because Flo's chores is to unload the dishwasher, and it's not currently.
I forgot about it today.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna help y'all. Can I help? Okay.
I got it.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay. Well, you can start unloading the dishwasher while I finish this up. Here, okay, here. You hold the trigger and I'll push.
Oh,
I promise that I'll expedite this along. Whoa. You know what? This is why I don't have a lot of kitchen gadgets.
Number one. Don't have a lot of it.
Flo, tell them about your memories of making this before. Look into
It
people's
got all
eyes.
moldy.
No.
Whenever we opened it up, it was all moldy. Because we said it, we left it too long. And all those other things, Mom, all the other things we made on Instagram, Mom, we never ate. And so the dumplings are just frozen, gone bad in the freezer. And our cheeseburger hand hit. Why is that? Mom ate it, and I really wanted to try one.
I don't know what to do right now because this whole is still happening. Okay, so why don't you tell something that you're proud of about your mom?
I really like your new book. It's really cool. I like it way better than your old book. No offense,
No,
but it's
no.
way better.
Why do you like it better? Yeah, I think the colors are.
And
Don't worry, I'm not going to be here shopping forever. I'm just going to get enough of this so that you can see what I'm going to do. So that the idea, and Theo is over here unloading the dishwasher. Thank you, buddy. You know, he likes to get his work out of the way. And we like to procrastinate a little bit. Wouldn't you say? I like to do what?
make us do too much.
Okay, so Theo, will you dump this in there?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna give you some salt, and you're gonna start pounding it. So.
Oh, I like pounding it.
Okay, well, I think you can both pound it. So the idea is that you would have one head of cabbage and one English cucumber, and you would shred it. Like you can shred it in your Roku, you can shred it with your knife. I thought the Roku would be easier, but I was wrong tonight. You can do that, yeah. So what needs to happen is for that amount of cabbage and cucumber, you want to add 4 teaspoons of salt. So a lot of recipes call for pickling salt, but I pretty much use kosher salt for everything.
That's a lot of salt.
I know because we don't have the right amount of ingredients right now, but just roll with it, okay?
Okay.
The show must go on.
Yeah, hopefully it tastes good though.
It will. I'll
Salt will make it taste good.
okay, so
Yeah,
this is my cucumber. You know, a lot of kraut recipes only call for cabbage, but I like the kind of cooling sensation cucumber adds. And also, I think it's really watery, so it makes it create more of a brine. See, what are your memories of when we made this?
Remember that we had a bunch of vegetables and it smelled like this.
Yes. So we've got cucumber and cabbage in here, and then the salt. And so what Theo's doing is
I'm mixing them all in one corner.
yes, he's bruising it. We're calling it pounding it because he's got.
It's not bruised.
So he's bruising it so that the cell walls are.
Oh, we just learned about that in science.
What you learn?
Well,
About
actually,
cells
our
in our
first
body.
science lesson, we learned about animal plant cells.
In the
Like,
respiratory system.
yeah, that was our second.
Science happens in 4th grade, in case you are wondering. And 4th grade is like no joke. Am I right?
I love 4th grade, but at the same time, we have a whole lot of work. And I love 4th grade. We have a lot
Okay,
of work.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so what Theo's doing is bruising the kraut. so that the cell walls are damaged, and they start to release the water that is a huge part. It's just cabbage. That is a huge part of their makeup, and that's behind this salt, and create this atmosphere where a positive rot is going to happen. So all the fermentation is a controlled rot of sorts, and that's a great thing, because bacteria, we need bacteria to be healthy, and our guts need bacteria, and kraut represents a probiotic that is really great for our guts, and it also represents something you can make for pennies, literally, that costs like double digits in the grocery store. Okay, so this is what you need. You see that I literally used my kids, a cabbage, a cucumber, salt, some kind of thing.
That thing. This thing.
Yes, that's a food processor, but something to pound it with.
A giant light pot.
And then you need a jar or any kind of glass or even plastic container. And we're gonna
I always like these things. They're pretty.
We're gonna stuff
Use your
this.
hands?
I'm using my hands right now because this is a high stress situation.
Can I use my hands?
Yes, but obviously, only.
I use mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's get messy.
This is the best part.
So,
My sweater.
if you had used the entire cabbage, which we didn't get to for obvious reasons, if you had used the entire cabbage, it plus the cucumber and the 4 teaspoons
Hey, you get the
salt
leftovers right there.
would just barely.
You get the
Oh my
leftovers
God,
right there.
y'all! Seriously,
Well,
seriously.
stop. Well, stop.
It would barely fill this jar, and you would find yourself like packing it in, and that's what you want. You want this to be completely compacted in this jar, and you use, this is a half-gallon jar. You could use a quart jar, whatever suits you, but you want to pack it down. And at that moment, when you pack it down, don't you move.
I'm trying to wash my hands.
At that moment, I'm going to do you what you did to my pillow. I'm sorry. We moved them because we're shooting something.
Okay.
People are watching this.
Okay.
Wipe it on me.
No, Andrew.
Okay. Anyway, so you would be packing it down, and you'll see that there's no brine. When we think of kraut, we think of it floating in some kind of liquid. So that's what's going to happen over the course of the next 12 hours, is that all the water is going to get pulled. Are you listening to this science lesson?
A little bit.
All the water is going to get pulled out of these vegetables. It's going to combine with the salt and make a brine that is going to ferment or pickle this cabbage and cucumber. And the cool thing about doing this with kids, they're just excited right now because, yeah. Why would you be? You're right. Because your mom's awesome book came out yesterday. How about that? Yeah. So the cool thing about doing this with kids is that it's a great kind of science experiment. It's an activity. And then you can watch it develop over the course of the next 10 to 15 days and taste it all along and figure out at what level do you like the pickle. So my kids are not great eaters. I mean, you're not bad eaters.
What?
No, you're not bad eaters. You don't like all the things I'd love for you to like. Oh, come on. Come on.
Well, you don't eat anything. It's fine.
But they both like pickles. And so I think that your kids may be surprised. Your kids may surprise you with something like this. And there's a recipe in this chapter called Macaroni Hot Dish.
Oh, yeah. And I one day found some sort of gross onion in it. It's like, Mom.
She found an onion in it. But it's macaroni, ground beef, broccoli, kraut, cheese, and it's baked together, and it's delicious for anybody, basically. So I'm going to thank Theo and Flo for their, their
Definitely
unprecedented help tonight.
Unprecedented was that ruining your video.
You did not ruin my video. Y'all made it great.
You ruined my face. You just put
Hey, you know, I was just, it was a love swipe. So, thank you all very much. See, you can already see the brine forming.
Oh my god.
That's okay. So the other thing I didn't mention this. So you're going to pack it in, and it would be completely full. And then you need something to weight it down.
And she has these weights made for it, and they're really cool.
No, so we bought these weights on Amazon, but it's basically a weight that fits into the jar of into the lid of a jar. But you could use a smaller. I have been known to use a smaller jar that will fit in here full of water. The idea is to just weight down the kraut so that as the brine is produced, it submerges.
So it basically gets moldy. Like, so it basically is rotting, but it's like good rotting.
Yes, exactly.
Like how they make cheese or something.
Exactly.
Science.
The thing is, when Flo tastes, Flo's a super taster.
I'm a tosser.
And when she tastes any of this, when she tastes I make these pickle sickles. It's basically like a popsicle made with the kraut brine. And she said that it tastes like alcohol.
It tastes like wine.
Which is really interesting because it's fermented and it's the same process. So in the same way that kombucha tastes kind of like alcohol, this does too. And I don't know where she got the taste of alcohol.
It tastes like wine.
Okay. Anyway, so
I smell that stuff.
we are weighting this down with a weight, and then you have to cover it. But you can't cover it with something solid. It needs to breathe. So there are a couple options.
You
can put a clean dish towel over it and secure that with a rubber band.
Yeah, or even you can use the have some. I forgot where.
You can use these beeswax
Yeah, that's
wraps.
what I was thinking.
The beeswax wraps that secure around the sides because they are breathable. Or this came as part of a kit on Amazon, and this is like a little top that has a
because it's like a little breather.
Yeah, like a little breather hole.
Anyway, can I put it on top with the weight or?
Yes, you can. You can. So, all right. So, and then you want to put your kraut in a non-sunny place, but not in a cupboard because you don't want to forget about it. That's why this got moldy because I put it in a cupboard because I was doing a video and trying to hide it for about 6 to 12 days. And after that 5th day, I would start tasting it and see like what level of funkiness you enjoy. And once it's at the funky level you like, all you need to do is take this guy off and take the weight out and cover it with a traditional lid and put it in the fridge. And you've got something that is going to add acid and texture and nutrients and probiotics to your food, making it more delicious and more helpful for 6 months if you keep it in the fridge that long.
The only thing is, the next scientific discovery they need to make is how to make kraut easier to make and like make it made in a day instead of like 2 months.
Well, the thing is, that's called inactive prep time. So active prep time is what we just did.
We're just gonna go ahead and put
And so this is inactive prep time, which is just all about waiting. Okay, y'all go ahead. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. We're gonna have dinner in a bit. And I was gonna make something else, but I don't think I am now. Okay, so I was gonna make this recipe from this chapter that is kraut cakes with fried apple, Dijon, and one of my favorite recipes in the whole book because it basically takes kraut and mixes it with a little bit of a pancake batter, and that gets pan fried, and it's like chewy and crunchy and tart. And then it's topped with these fried apples. And I don't know if any of y'all grew up eating fried apples, but that was like one of the things that my mom would make from time to time this time of year, which, you know, butter in the pan, brown sugar, cook the apples for 2 or 3 minutes. And then I don't think my mom squirted lemon juice on them, but I do. Serving these kraut cakes with Dijon and fried apples. So I hope that y'all get the book. and make the kraut and then make this particular dish. And I'm sorry for what just happened here.
Honestly, Vivian, that was incredible. I felt like I was a fly on the wall in your kitchen. You were so calm, and you love your kids because you react well together. I think they were like spontaneous, and I think they were respectful and sweet and very smart. I love how you all interact with each other, and that's what all the comments say. We all commend you for not chugging the glass of wine on the side there. What's going on? But you're so real, and that's what I love about your cookbook, and that's what I love about you watching your shows. So, yes. So you're not going to make the other recipe. And where did you come up with the names?
I'd rather, if people have questions, answer those.
Okay. All right. I just want to ask you, the names in the cookbook are funny. Give me a medal. I can't remember what the name of the recipe is. Where did you come up with that?
Well, like with the condiments themselves or the flavor heroes, so many times they were inspired by, classic condiments in the world, like chimichurri or like sofrito, or kraut. But I really wanted to give them more, I wanted to personify them more through the name in my book, because I look at this book as a completely different cookbook than any that I've ever seen. It's organized in a really novel way. It's about a different approach in your kitchen. And so I want everything else about it to feel that way as well. So that's why the recipe names are not like sauteed chicken with slow cooked grits. I think the one you're talking about, where's my medal, grits and chicken.
Well, look at this one, the people pleaser party dip.
There's your party dip.
It looks so good.
One of the ones chapter is called Dinner for Pregnant People. And so, I mean, it was just like endlessly fun doing this, because I had so much freedom to just create my own little world in a cookbook. And it was
you took our breath away with it, honestly. There's one thing, and when I read this one passage in your book, and it says, why are herbs in those little plastic things hanging in the refrigerator? What are those?
Just profanity in my house tonight. Herbs in those little things hanging up on the hook, and there's never enough for a recipe in it, and half of it's rotten.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. Did you learn anything about yourself when you were writing this book, or like new tips or tricks that people offered you while you were writing it, or?
I wrote a lot of this book from a pretty remote place in North Carolina that had a market in the middle of the winter, and it had a market that had like the most streamlined, you have broccoli, you have cabbage, you have chicken breast, you have, pork chops. And so I did a lot of the recipe development from that place. And so I would bring my flavor heroes with me, and then be like confronted with this very limited selection of ingredients, but a selection of ingredients that I know everybody across the country has access to. And so it was like when you streamline your options, when you streamline your pantry, it showed me how creative within that you can be, because it narrows your framework, which I think is something that makes me really creative. In fact, that's the way that I dedicated the book. I think the dedication reads, it reads, to the corners we find ourselves in that force novel and creative ways out. And this book is so much, is so that in so many ways, being this isolated place with not a lot of options, and then it making me far more creative even. And, also the creativity that COVID has required of me and all of us, really, but really for the opportunities within the challenges presented by this. And then also just finding yourself in a place after writing a 600-page book, cookbook, and in the place where you need to write another, and feeling like you're kind of in a corner, like, whoa, what am I going to do? I've written everything I know, and then really thinking about, no, I haven't. And so that's what this book celebrates.
And we can't thank you enough. I hope you write another one. I love the signature you have in here too. It's just a smiley face inside.
Oh yeah.
You're so real and giving and wonderful. And I think your cooking demonstration exemplifies what people are all going through. I am so thankful my kids are not little, because when my kids were little, I had 9 kids in my daycare at home, and I had like a preschool set up and everything, and I'd take them all grocery shopping. You're what everybody's living right now. They're working and they're juggling everything. So you're still smiling. I mean, I know you must have bad days, but you're just so, let's do it. So
I'm so grateful. This book is such a big gift. I was working on it, before COVID, but I finished it after this all landed on us. And the whole time I was like, I'm so grateful I have this to focus on, as a restaurateur with, 3 restaurants that closed. It was like, okay, this is my ray of sunshine. So I'm grateful for it.
It's been hard, but yeah, our friend Renee said, how long can I refrigerate the R-rated onions? Because she made those. I dropped it off to her at 9:00 last night, because that's what I was doing for deliveries. And she made them today. And people were so excited. Yeah.
So what I would do is they'll keep for a week in your fridge, but I like to get, for the R-rated onions, which are one of the few, maybe the only heroes in the book that doesn't have a lot of acid or a lot of like additional sugar to preserve it. I like to put them in ice cube trays in the freezer.
Oh,
so that you want to break them out so that they're there. And you can break them out, on a whim to add to a sauce that needs more viscosity, or add to a braise that needs more, meaty earthiness. And it's just like right there for you.
Well, we have another author on here, Alyssa Miles, who was just with us. Do you choose a recipes as a way to tell a story? And what is the story you want to tell with this cookbook?
Absolutely. Like, I consider myself a storyteller before a cook. And so the story I want to tell with this book is like all about empowerment in the kitchen and in your life, and just not feeling like you need to follow a certain set of rules or follow a certain recipe in order to be successful and your best self and the best cook you can be.
That's what I like about cooking as opposed to baking, because I can throw anything I want into cooking as long as I know I think it will taste good. But baking, it's chemistry, which is hard. Math is hard. We have another question here. We are looking forward to reading your book. We have been watching your show for years. What is your favorite way to make a potato salad?
Great question. So my favorite way to make a potato salad is to blanch the potatoes in boiling salted water, cool them slightly, but not completely, season them while they're still warm with salt and a little vinegar, and then take the little green dress from This Will Make It Taste Good and stir a lot of that into it. And then add perhaps maybe a little bit more lemon juice or vinegar and a little bit more olive oil, and put that in a bowl, and then crumble some feta cheese on top of it.
Oh, anything with feta is very good.
Yeah, and it adds like a salty punch to, sometimes I think, chicken potato salad, it can feel like maybe did this start out as mashed potatoes? And, and so I like texture in my potato salad, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, we had somebody, and I wanted to ask this too. You provide so much inspiration to everybody. And who is your inspiration? Besides me. I'm only kidding.
I am endlessly inspired these days by Michelle Obama. I've
Such a lady.
Yeah. I've always been a huge disciple of Oprah. You know, I quote her. I was telling my kids, like, wait, before we went on, I was like, don't talk about the kraut yet. You know, the first time's the best time, which is an Oprah quote. And you know, I'm inspired by a lot of moments in the day, like sunrise, sunset. This COVID has really made my relationship with the outdoors more important, and it's really made me value it more. I think I enjoyed it before, but I didn't realize like it was like such a gift to live where I do and to be able to go out and have wide open space.
Yes, you're so right. So I'd like to find those little bits of joy too. And you have a beautiful area around you, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about, I remember my kids when they were little. Actually, I only ate cream cheese and jelly sandwiches and macaroni and cheese when I was little for like 7 years. How do you sneak vegetables into a picky eater's life, or like how do you get them to try things? You just wait it out, or?
No. Actually, there's a lot of. I wanted to write a cookbook about.
There you go.
Kids, yeah, about kids under the age of 10. That was one of the pitch several years ago, and that didn't happen. So I incorporated a lot of those ideas into this book, and so there's probably 10, 15 recipes where I'm hiding something. I'm whispering now because my children are here. Where I'm hiding either, you know, a blended cauliflower into something that they think is potato, or a blended spinach into something they know is going to be green, but like spinach is something that is, you know, doesn't have a really assertive taste. And so that's, and also serving, you know, roasted, big pieces of roasted broccoli in the place of a steak with a, you know, but it has a really satisfying, rich sauce on top of it, like a spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
So I'm all about hiding the green stuff, and there's a lot that tells you how to do that in here.
My uncle from Italy, he was from Sicily, and he used to put a whole eggplant and some carrots into the tomato sauce instead of sugar, and he said that was the trick. But nobody.
The same thing, carrots, sweetness, and you know, it's great for you.
How do you get past a disaster in the kitchen? Did you ever have a Thanksgiving dinner when you forgot to take out the giblets?
There was no getting past it. Yeah, you know, I on Thanksgiving I generally roast 2 turkeys because one of them is likely going to be less than stellar.
Really?
Yeah, and I just don't think you can avoid a lot of disasters, and I think that disasters are part of the fabric that make our holidays really memorable, right?
And they add to the stories that you can tell again. You know,
Absolutely.
we got a Traeger grill, and my husband does that, and then I do one in the oven. And the smoked turkey is amazing. So you can try that.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have one more question. Oh, somebody wanted to know, Joy, I think, wanted to know, was it harder to write the first book or the second one? Or did you find you just flowed? I'm going to use the word flow there.
I wouldn't say that either one of them was hard. You know, I always wanted to be a writer, and so I've done a lot of things before being able to do this. So like really being able to sit down and, you know, essentially be paid to do what I always dreamt to do. Nothing felt hard about that. And what was hard was figuring out what this book was going to be, and really on several tries, like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, trying to write the book that I thought everybody wanted me to write. And then figuring out like, no, this is what I want to write. And then really like, you know, Batmobile style engaging, like, oh my God, this is what I'm doing. And I know exactly what I want to say. And there was, aside from trying to do this in a short period of time and having it take me away from my family,
Mhm.
That was the only hard part.
I bet, especially with the kids. I mean, you really can tell that you have a genuine love for each other, and you get along well. So I have to say this one comment from Amelia, that you're so funny. This is the kind of fun and chaos we have in our kitchen. This show will forever reduce my stress cooking with kids. And that's how it should be. You're very relaxed, and I admire you right up there with Oprah. If anybody wants to give anybody a car, that would be okay too. But you are the epitome of grace, and your generosity is astounding. So we didn't get to see Ben. I did enjoy a dinner at your place with Ben and you and all the other booksellers we were with, and we've been back a few times, and I love going down there, and I wish you well through all of this. You're an inspiration, and you are a bright light with everything. So thank you. Is there any other questions anybody has?
My kids are wondering when dinner is happening.
Normally microwave some fish sticks and all right. You are so wonderful. I really hope when everything dies down and everything's back together, we either rent a bus and come down to Kinston, or we can have you come back. We have an extra bedroom. You could sleep over. But Vivian, you what? Oh, you do have to sign the new bathroom. Yes. And I want to thank you also for your husband wearing a picture of our page 158 Lit Happen shirts on the beach one day. We were like, oh, we're famous. So thank you, Ben. Thank you so much, Vivian. We do have signed copies. We wish you well going through the next year, and with the restaurants and your kids and everything. We can send you, we can go to the post office and we can send you books. We have signed books, and try these recipes, because the apple sour is fantastic. Somebody made the R-rated onions and they said they're great. Oh, we just have one more. Any recommendations for a nightshade way to add heat to LGD? Little LGD. Yeah, you know me.
A nightshade. Wait, say that again.
So any recommendations for a non-nightshade way to add heat to LGD?
Oh,
Non-nightshade.
non-night. So
I got to get the math in my head.
Non-pepper, like non. I'm assuming the pepper,
eggplant, onions. Yeah.
Okay, so I actually the heat element was something that I added at the very end. Like, I've been making this LGD for 4 or 5 years without any heat element at all. And I found that I wanted to add that when I was writing this. So I think you could just leave it out.
Okay. So just to refresh everybody's memory, LGD goes ranch. I first read it as LCD. I don't know. A little LCD. Yeah, so goes ranch. Mayonnaise, sour cream, buttermilk.
For little green dress.
Oh, yes. But somebody is putting the R-rated, X-rated onions in the sweet potato black bean tacos tonight. So everybody up and down this board is so appreciative. And Vivian, big hugs, because you hugged. I have a picture of us hugging, and
yeah, but that is. I'm going to be a I don't know, thumper or something.
Yes. I thank you all for being here. And again, we can mail anything out to you. And the book is fantastic. And fingers crossed. Thank you to Julie Isrig. I'm going to get in your ear that I really want to have Vivian Howard come back, or we can go rent a bus. Thank you all. Go enjoy your dinner, Vivian. And thank you all for being here. This is on our Facebook page. And in a while, we'll put it on our YouTube page also, and all our social media. Stay safe.